secret conversations between Putin and George Bush about Ukraine have been declassified. So what was in that transcript? Putin told Bush that Ukraine's membership in NATO would be a fundamental red line for Moscow. As for other details,
right now, you're watching Glaveret channel. I'm your host, Evgeny Serov. Please like and subscribe to the channel.
The US National Security Archive, through a court order, has declassified and published transcripts of meetings between the president of the aggressor country, Russia's Vladimir Putin, and George W. Bush from 2001 to 2008. According to the archive, these conversations demonstrate the evolution from alliance after September 11th to confrontation over Iraq, missile defense, and NATO expansion. The documents obtained through the archive's lawsuit against the Bush Library reveal key conversations. In 2001 in Slovenia, Bush called Putin the kind of guy you'd want in a foxhole with you, while Putin compared Chechens to schoolchildren. Bin Laden? In 2005, Iran and North Korea were discussed. In 2008, in Sochi, Putin warned of a conflict zone due to NATO for Ukraine and Georgia. During their last meeting in Sochi in April 2008, Putin told Bush that Ukraine's membership in NATO would be a fundamental red line for Moscow. The accession of a country like Ukraine to NATO will, in the long term, create a field of conflict for both you and us, Putin said, adding that internal disagreements within Ukraine could lead to the country simply splitting apart. Putin described Ukraine as a very complex state and an artificially created country, even back in Soviet times, asserting that NATO is perceived by a significant part of the Ukrainian population as a hostile organization and that Ukraine's membership would bring military infrastructure closer to Russia's borders. This is what Putin said. Now I would like to repeat what I said to candidates in Moscow about NATO expansion. This is not news to you, and I am not expecting an answer. I just want to say it out loud. I would like to emphasize that the accession of a country like Ukraine to NATO will, in the long term, create a field of conflict. For you and for us, a long-term confrontation. Why? Bush asked. Putin replied, "There are 17 million Russians living in Ukraine, a third of the population. Ukraine is a very complex state. It is not a nation that was created naturally. It is an artificial state created back in Soviet times. After World War II, Ukraine received territories from Poland, Romania, and Hungary. That is almost all of Western Ukraine. In the 1920s and 1930s, Ukraine received territories from Russia, which is the eastern part of the country. The document also records several sharply changed aspects of US-Russian relations over Bush's two terms. In 2001, after the September 11th attacks, Bush called Putin a reliable partner, telling him, "You are the kind of person I would want in a foxhole with me." In turn, Putin presented Russia's war in Chechnya as part of the same global fight against terrorism, claiming that Chechen militants were students of bin Laden.